Hey everybody, it's Rich Tola and welcome to another episode of Tola Talks Texas. Hope you're having an awesome morning. I am. It's Wednesday, December 29th. That means there's 3 days left in the year. Good things come in threes, guys. Speaking of which, the trilogy by Stieg Larsson. You guys read those books? The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest was a movie I watched the other day. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is the first book. Second is The Girl Who Played with Fire. So I watched the second movie yesterday. Remember, this is the Swedish version with Noomi Rapace and Michael Nyqvist? He's awesome. So it has the subtitles, so if you don't like to read, but it is a great trilogy, watch the second one. Going to be watching the third one before the end of the year. I wanted to get those three in, so she does a great job. He does a great job. Great film. Go check it out. But so today it's raining here in Texas, and let me give you a little trivia, but first let me see, do you recognize the lyrics from this song? The circus is falling down on its knees. The big top is crumbling down. It's raining in Baltimore, 50 miles east. Where you should be, no one's around. Love that album, Counting Crows, Raining in Baltimore. That was 1993. Amazing album, it really was. I was in New York City at the time when that came out. I remember it well. So here we go. Let's talk about the rain in Texas, because this is about a little bit about Texas, right? Land of the free, home of the brave. It's raining. Rains 25 inches a year in Texas on average. The average U.S. state numbers are 38 inches, so we're less than that. It does snow. Well, it says snow, maybe sleet. You have 4 inches a year. The average is 28. Precipitation, number of days it rains or precipitates, 61 days, which is 17% of the year in Texas. The average is 106, so we're well below the average. And then finally, sunny days. Love sunny days. 2/3 of the time. It's 246 days in Texas. That's about 67% of the time. The average is 205. So, hey, gotta love it in Texas. A little more humidity here. I woke up with a headache, guys, and I kind of had a headache throughout the night, I think because the rain was coming. Not used to that in California. So that was something that affected my workout, but actually in a good way. We're going to talk about that. But first, we're not going to get too much into current events. I want to talk about homelessness. Not the virus, which, by the way, the CDC came out yesterday and they significantly reduced their estimates of how prevalent Omicron variant was. They said it was 22.5% of new cases. The original estimate was 73.2. Well, I'd say that's a major reduction. So 22% of new cases versus the 73. Again, it's the flu. Do you have faith in numbers? Who knows? You got faith in the experts? Who knows? But the key is to have faith in yourself. If you're battling it, stay positive. The way I'm looking at it is, hey, a lot of people put on weight during this pandemic, and if you're losing weight because of a little illness, it's good for you. So let's talk about homelessness, because that's a big deal, guys. That's a big deal, and we'd like to see that fixed, annihilated, rather. And I wish every president would focus on that. So I went to this website, endhomelessness.org. So I got these numbers off of that site. Now, these are taken from January 2020. It's a few weeks before the COVID became a national emergency, right? So these are the numbers. These are how many people experiencing homelessness in America. 580,466, okay? 70% of those are individuals. The rest are families. And most of the families with children are single moms. Need to know that. Half of the people experiencing homelessness in America, again, these are American numbers, half of them have no shelter. Now, that's a big deal because you need shelter. I believe you need shelter. I talked about TP communities many years ago, and I continue to believe that. And you need at least 1 square meal a day, as they say in the Army. So here are the numbers. Out of 10,000 males, 22 are homeless, and 13 are women and girls. So those are the numbers. To every 10,000 males, you got 22 and 13, so that's 35, all right? Here's the good news. There's the good news and the bad news, right? The good news is from 2007 until today, overall homelessness has decreased by 10%. By the way, the states with the highest percentage of homelessness, D.C., New York, well, it's not a state, but D.C., New York, Hawaii, and California, New York and California. I mean, California, it's unbelievable. It feels like it's, anyway, we'll get to that in a second. But unsheltered, here's the good news. Well, that was the good news, that the overall went down. The bad news is the unsheltered homelessness numbers are on the rise. Yeah, that's the bad news. So I want to give a shout out to Arnold Schwarzenegger. He just came out. He gave, what did he give? He gave homes, 25 tiny homes to LA-based homeless veterans to the tune of $250,000. Way to go, Arnold. Arnold was my idol in 1979. I was 16 years old, start going to the gym on a daily basis, Man's World Gym. Give a shout out to Joe Dodd, rest in peace, and everybody who worked out there. I trained with the best of the best, no doubt. So, well, Arnold did a good thing because in LA, in the past year, homelessness rose by 12.7%. You got 66,433 people are homeless in LA. That's 11% of the total. So those are big numbers. By the way, Arnold, he was 5-time Mr. Universe, 7-time Mr. Olympia. Lee Haney and Ronnie Coleman are the only guys that beat him out on that. They have 8 wins each. But you know, Arnold started training at the age of 13. It says he picked up a dumbbell in 1960. He was 13. At the age of 14, he got serious. He knew what he wanted to do. By the time he was 23, he won his first Mr. Olympia in New York. And he retired. He didn't retire until 1980, which he came back. He was training for the Conan film. That was his 7th time, but he actually retired. I think he won in 1975. Retired, then he came back 5 years later when he was training for it. He knew he maybe could win, and then everybody knows, man, one of my favorite films, The Terminator, Linda Hamilton, Paul Winfield. That was a great film back in 1984. I'll be back, right? He was awesome. So way to go, Arnold. He was what am I saying? I'm no longer in California. He was California's governor, the Governator, the 38th governor of California from 2003 to 2011. Yeah, maybe he'd do a better job than what they have there currently. So those are some numbers there. Like I said, kudos to Howard. Let me give you a quick story what happened to me this morning. Well, I mean, I've been there a bunch of times, but after I worked out, I went over to McDonald's, which is close to the gym, right? I told you guys, I eat fast food. I do. I just don't eat a lot of food in general. So had this headache that I couldn't get rid of. Still have a little dull headache, but went over there, and this is what happened. I mean, first time I went in there a couple weeks back, there was this homeless guy who sits back in the corner. He goes in there every morning. Man, this guy looks like he could be Santa Claus. So he's definitely not missing any meals. But big dude, nice guy, very, very nice demeanor. But he walks around and he stands in front of people and he kind of stands there until you give him food, which is, well, I mean, that's unfortunate when you're just trying to eat by yourself. I'm looking at my phone, checking the cryptos and getting ready for the day, and he's standing there. So I gave him, first day I gave him the hash brown, right? Well, that was a mistake, I guess, because, well, it was good and bad. The bad news is now he comes up to me every day like he's my best friend when I go there. So now I'm just getting the food, eating in the car, which I hate doing. But it's just like he stands there, and it's uncomfortable because the guy's like a nice guy, nice energy in a way, but it's like it doesn't go away till you give him food. Going back, here's another little story I'll give you. Back in L.A., this was 2010. Anybody watch the film, my film Boulevard Zen? We filmed that in a bungalow on Bronson Avenue, which is right off of Sunset, and it's between Sunset and Santa Monica in L.A., Hollywood. And in that bungalow, right across from me was another bungalow. And at one point, these possums broke into, like, underneath. There was a little crawl space. I don't know how they broke the little gate, but it was a mom and her family. I mean, like 4 or 5 of these little babies were living under there, right? I called the owner right away. I called the owner and I said, you got to come secure this because it's not good. I mean, and then she's like, all right, I'll get there tomorrow. Well, that day, I'm sitting out reading the paper. I used to sit out in a little courtyard right there, and the house was right next to me. Now, they were going in there at night. I saw them the night before. But anyway, I hear this little cat meowing in this crawl space. And I'm like, oh, no, that cat, it's like a little baby, I thought. It's not going to make it tonight. That cat's going to die because, So I lured the cat out. I went and got some cat treats, and then I lured her out. I called her Girlie, a little black and white cat. She was tiny. I thought she was probably like a month or two old. She was so small. And then And then what I did was I didn't know anything about cats at the time. I was afraid to touch her, but I put out food once a day because I'm like, I got to keep her out of that. And then it took the owner 2 days to come and secure the place. But either way, I start feeding Girly. And, of course, then she becomes mine. In a way, she never came inside, but she would be an outside cat, feed her once a day. But then she'd show up every day, sitting on the porch looking up at me like, hey, where's my food? Well, what are you going to do? And then when someone finally moved into the place, I remember this woman says to me, you got to go get her spayed. I'm like, what are you talking about? I never even really held her. She's like, no, you got to get her spayed or else you're going to have babies. And so I actually did. I went to this truck. I ended up getting her into this. I bought the Cadillac of cat carriers. I said, I got to get her a nice carrier. So I bought a nice carrier. I don't know what I was doing. Finally got her in there, and I took her to get spayed. That was a whole nother story. Long story short, by feeding her, like this homeless guy, he's now, he just wants food. So, it's a little uncomfortable. So anyway, here's my little story there. But, you kind of feel bad, but at the same point, I want to eat the darn, hash browns sometimes. So today I just got the food and ate in the car because I'm like, I don't want to be bothered. So chances are I'll be picking another location. But anyway, that's the story about homelessness. And again, what I say about folks, if you're trying to lose weight, take the food that you're going to eat today, take half of it and go give it to a homeless person. Hopefully not inside a little fast food place. But no, give food away if you're a person who's fortunate enough to be able to do that. So do that. Contribute to the cause. We have to cure it, guys. Talk about curing it. We have to cure it. You can't have 500,000 people homelessness in this country. It's too much money. We're blowing too much money, and people are making too much money off this whole pandemic. So let's get with the program and focus on homelessness because that's important. By the way, I want to give a rest in peace shout out to total inspirational and legendary coach John Madden. He passed away at the age of 85. The guy was an amazing football coach, did a lot for the sport as well as inspiring others, and he was a great broadcaster as well. Rest in peace. So here we go. Let's jump right into this little fitness of the day, Fountain of Youth. Who's drinking from the Fountain of Youth, right? Have you been working out this week? Well, I told you guys I had some shoulder issues. Well, today I woke up with that headache, but when I got to the gym, right, stretched out, I felt great. It was like the best I felt all week. So when I feel that good, what I do is I do more supersets. So in the first 21 minutes, I'm like a numbers guy, without a doubt. I was a finance guy, worked on Wall Street, but when I was a kid, math was my thing. So I'm all about the numbers. So I said in the first half of the workout, remember, I work out for 40 minutes a day. That's what I shoot for. First half of that, I said, let me just get my supersets in. Usually I do dips and pull-ups is the only superset that I normally do. Well, today I did 4 different supersets. I did the dips, the pull-ups. Then I went over and did on the bench a little triceps and shoulders, the flies with the dumbbells, okay? Then I went and did shoulders and buys on the machines. Anyway, long story short, I did 4 different supersets. That was the first half of my workout, feeling really good. I don't take breaks in the middle, guys. Maybe, 30 seconds to a minute and then move on. And then I kind of slowed it down in the second 20 minutes. But the last thing I did was biceps, and I did 7 sets without much break, without much break in between. So I started with 12. I did 12, 10, 8, 6, 5, 5, 5. So, and then I was blown out. But that's what I did with the preacher curl. I only did one exercise, which was the machine preacher curl, which I love. Normally I do some straight bars and some dumbbells, but here's the key to continuing to work out on a daily basis, as what Arnold did for sure, and which I've been doing since I was 16 in 1979. That guy, I tell you, he ruled, and everybody looked at that body and said anybody wanted to be that body. But anyway, you got to mix it up. You got to keep it interesting for yourself because it gets boring. Working out's boring, right? Who wants to go the same day doing the same thing? It's boring, right? I don't even have most of the time, I don't have a plan. I don't plan out, I'm going to do this. No. What I do is I just kind of go in there and I kind of roll with it. It's like being an actor. You want to be organic with it. Yeah, you need to know your lines, but it can't be so scripted out that it's like, methodical, right? You want to just come out naturally with it. You need to be organic with it. So if you have a plan, that's good. I see a lot of people, they take notes, they write things down. I don't write things down. I don't keep track of what weight I use. If the weight's feeling heavy, I lower the weight. I don't even look at the weight number. Makes no difference to me. That's what keeps it interesting. That's what keeps me from being boring, getting bored in the gym. Because boring, then you're not going to go, okay? I didn't do legs today because I told you I do legs, twice, 3 times a week. So mix it up, and then I'll jump on the bike later. I'm going to do 20 minutes on the bike while I watch the news. That's in my building. So there you have it. Get to the gym, get your walk in, get your yoga in, get your stretching in. You got to work out, okay? By the way, when I'm watching, I was doing chess today, and there's a show. It's a Spanish channel. There's no volume, but it's a Spanish-speaking channel. I don't speak Spanish, but let me tell you, there's this really attractive woman who's the host, and she dances around. It's like a dating show, and she always has 3 women and a bunch of guys, and this time there was a guy for each astrological sign, which is kind of cool. And all the guys, everybody on that show, the women are, I guess, similar, but the guys are every type of guy. They're white, brown, black, all different types of guys. And these women get up and they dance around. They got these short skirts on them. They look like they're exotic dancers up there. It's unbelievable. So they definitely beautify the body on this show, because everybody on this show the bodies are there and the guys are hot and everybody's hot. It's just some dating show, and the woman just dances around. And I'm talking, they look like they're in the joint over there. These exotic dancers. So anyway, I don't know the name of the show, but yeah, you get inspired watching these attractive people with great bodies, and when you're in the gym. So hey, if that's what's going to do it for you, I'm just doing my chest looking at the show. Anyway, let's move on. Cryptocurrency, guys, they're getting crushed this week, right? Being crushed today, getting crushed. It's unbelievable. But hey, what did I say? I still thought, I'm not sure if I still think it now, but Bitcoin, is it going to close above 50,000 for the year? Maybe not. It's taking a beating, as you guys could tell. As we speak, looking at the charts here, 47,392. That's where Bitcoin is. Wow, it's taking a huge bump. Everything's bumping down. Ether's at 37.50. Doge is at 17 cents, trying to hold the line. Dogecoin. Again, guys, I'm looking at my Robinhood holdings here. Bitcoin Cash, BSV. So let me tell you, hold the line, because I've been doing this now I've been heavy into the cryptos for over a year now. And if you go back to the previous shows, you'll hear my little background in the investing. I was a Wall Street guy, but I really didn't get back into it until March of 2020, when everything shut down. Everything shut down in LA. So here's the deal with me. I'm looking at my numbers. Today, I'm down 2%. For the week, I'm down 1.2%. Not too bad. For the month, I'm down 17.5%. Oof, it's a rough month, but look at this. For 3 months, I'm down 9%. But for the year, I'm up 430%. So pretty good. But from my all-time high, guys, I'm down about, 70, 75%. So don't despair. It's discouraging. It's disappointing if you're kind of getting beat up. It's the last week of the year. There's profit-taking. There's wash sales going on. I don't know if people totally lost their faith in the cryptos. I still believe we're in the first inning of a very long game. Being the baseball player back in the day. And by the way, I'm thinking about it now. In the height of my heyday, I was 20 pounds heavier than I am today. And at one point, I could bench twice my weight and curl my weight with a straight bar. So anybody can do that. I don't even know if Arnold could have done that back in the day, because he weighed a lot more than me. So anyway, don't despair. If you're getting slapped around with your portfolio, there's a new year coming around the corner. If you need the money, obviously take it. Hopefully you could offset losses with gains and make it a strong close, because no matter what you do, you want to close strong, right? So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, keep the faith, stay positive, get through it. Things will change no matter what. Help a homeless person, put some food in their pocket if you can. I like the concept of food. Money, you never know where that's going to go. It might turn into alcohol. Guys, cut back on the alcohol. You guys know I don't drink. It's been over 14 years now. So became poisoned, so I just can't do it. So, hey, ease up on that. If you're going out for New Year's Eve, take it easy, Anyway, have an awesome week. Have an awesome rest of your day, guys. And remember, get your workout in, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.